We don't 100% know what the rules are going to be when we reopen. We have some idea because we've been watching other locations in Canada come online, British Columbia, Alberta, etc. So we're watching what the rules have been established for them. We're also watching very closely what our American colleagues are doing and how they're coming along. It's to a large extent they are reducing capacity and enforcing physical distancing in the theater. So I'll give you a couple examples. So let's go on to theater number 2. And like I said, there's not a lot of physical changes. It's mostly procedural, but I can demonstrate some of it to you. So I guess some of the big changes people are going to see right off the bat is that when we reopen, we'll be doing reserved seating.
Oh, so okay. So is that going to be for all the auditoriums?
It's going to be for all the auditoriums, all shows. So this is a very European thing. That Europe has always done reserved seating in cinemas. It's been...
Well, it's also a growing trend here, not just Canada, but the U.S. too. Now that's a very popular thing to do.
I don't actually know a theater that's not going in that direction now. So we're actually changing, again, as I said, there's not a lot, this is a physical change. There's a big software change in the background that has to happen to make that work.
Right, so people can choose their seats when they buy their tickets.
Exactly right.
That makes sense.
That's right. So let's go into theater 2, a typical theater, and I'll just give you some...
I haven't been inside one of the theaters for months. I can't tell you how excited I am, even just to be in this room.
Well, here we are. Again. We're theater 2. So some physical changes. All the floors are repainted in all the theaters. That's more of one of those things that we can't... That's one of the things we can't, do when we're open because it takes too long.
Right.
Every seat's been steam cleaned, many cases twice, and you'll see these numbers on the chairs now. So
and I'm noticing there's some also on the sides of the rows.
Yeah, so
identifying the numbers.
Yeah, so it's like this one's actually falling off. They were just put on the other day, but we still have some wrinkles to iron out. But you'll see each seat is numbered. You'll see this.
So this is going to be standard in all the auditoriums.
Yes.
So that way you can not just, I imagine this is also so you can distance the audiences once they come back.
So that's a big part of it. The
be.
software for the first phase enforces physical distancing. So if you look at our theater, we already have an incredible amount of legroom in our theaters. So there's already a fair amount of room between rows, but we'll be skipping each row. So if you're sitting in I4, the closest guest will be
2 rows, and this is more than 6 feet.
This is more than 6 feet by itself. Right. We'll also be putting a 3-seat gap in between each party. So if you and your girlfriend are sitting in I1 and I4 and I5.
This is cinema too. So I think I bought a seat through the Film.Ca buy a seat.
So
mine is eventually going to be right here.
Okay.
So for a side group like this, it would just be your party and that's
right.
it.
Yeah. So if there's a separate seat, it won't be sold.
Right.
Basically.
So that way you have that, and then, but you're saying in the middle ones.
In the middle ones,
if we were here, for example.
Yeah, if the two of you were there, there'd be a 3-seat gap, again, more than 6 feet, before somebody else could sit down. So that's taking us to about a 25% capacity right there, which is challenging, but it's a great way to get back in the theater in a safe way, right? So that's one thing. So we have the seat numbers. I also want to point out to you, you're talking about the Buy a Seat campaign.
Right.
So this is what they actually look like. So this is the Senna family. Is that what it is? The Senna family bought this plaque, and so this is what a plaque looks like from the Buy a Seat campaign. So when the Senna family comes by, they'll always be able to see their seat. Do
you have a personal favorite plaque anywhere?
Let's see. This one is particularly awesome. This one is the Tory Nixon seat. Now Tory is a very good friend of Film.Ca's.
Yeah? What does it say?
It says, Tory Nixon sat here during events. So Tory was Jenna previously.
Okay.
And Tory ran all of our events. Tory was actually the person who helped me start the viral video campaign.
Oh.
And so she would sit here while we had events. This is the theater with a stage, so there's often events there.
So follow-up question, what is this device that is on the Tory's seat at the moment?
That's actually Tory.
This is Tory here?
No, I'm just kidding. So this is a fogging device. So as I was telling you before, a lot of the changes are protocols, how we sanitize the theater, and how we keep our customers safe. So this is one of the techniques we're going to use. We will be cleaning in between. So we're cutting down the number of shows per day. Typically, we would have 5 shows per theater per day. We're cutting back 1.
So it's only going to be 3 or 4 shows.
Exactly. And the idea is to create a bigger gap of time between shows so we can spend more time in the theaters cleaning and we can reduce crowds in the lobby. So there'll be greater shifting in terms of showtime starts. So we're going to try to avoid having multiple shows coming at the same time. So the lineup would be predominantly for one movie. Will get them cleared out.
And that way you can stagger the shows, so that way there's only X number of guests coming in at once.
Right.
That's very smart.
We will have a sanitation supervisor whose sole job will be to manage the safety and cleanliness of each auditorium. So you were asking about this device. So this is a fogging device, and the idea is it's very hard, particularly with cloth seats, but it's very hard to sanitize effectively just with a cloth. So this is actually this is a fogging device, and it's distributed here in town by a company called Ultra Mist, which is an Oakville-based company, and the product is Health Canada and CDC approved product to disinfect for a number of pathogens, including COVID. And I'll just demonstrate to you. So between shows,
should I stand back?
No, it's 100. I could blast it at you, and it's not going to affect you.
All right, I'm ready.
I'm starting to sell this product or something. Maybe we should get a commission. But the idea really is that it goes on wet, which is one of the principles of sanitization.
In that case, please do not shoot it at
Yeah,
us.
exactly. But it dries very, very rapidly.
Okay.
And it kills. It's 99.9% effective. It actually freshens the air as well. But it kills everything in terms of pathogens, mold, fungus, anything like that. Not that theater has those things, but it's a very good product. We've done a lot of research. There's a couple of competing products like this, but we've settled on an Oakville-based company, which we're very proud to be associated with. Ultra Mist is what they're called. Ultra Mist.
It's also just good to be shopping local to begin with.
We're trying to. We're a local-based company. We're trying to support. So really, I'll just give a demonstration. So when the staff come in, they'll obviously pick up. We're hoping the guests will help us out a little bit by
helping just take their popcorn bags.
Yeah, I mean, it's about 20% due now. We're hoping to get that up to 99.9%.
I always clean after.
I know, you're a good guest. Well, actually, they're all good guests, but we're hoping that they're going to help us because we want to spend more time in the theaters keeping them clean and
disinfecting them to get them as safe as possible.
That's right.
All right,
so
our
staff will be wiping down the surfaces like the plastic armrests and stuff. They'll be wiped down with the same chemical in here, and then each theater will be fogged. I'm not sure you can
there
hear
it goes.
Yeah. So this is emitting a fog of the antiseptic, and then the staff will go through each row.
Look at that.
And disinfect the seats and the carpets.
In between every show.
Between every show. And you can smell, even through the mask, you can smell there's a fresh smell to it. But most importantly, while that is on there wet, it is killing the pathogens in the seats, including COVID. So this little device is hopefully going to be one of our frontline defenses against COVID.
Right. But just regular pathogens of any kind, really. It's
all
just
pathogens.
Good sanitation.
All pathogens. I mean, and that's part of the new normal, right?
Right.
Everybody's going to be more. There's going to be a heightened awareness, especially in group settings like this, of that kind of situation, whether it be influenza, COVID, or anything else that might be lurking out there waiting to surprise us. The popcorn flu. I hope that doesn't happen.
Oh goodness, no! If I'm not allowed to have popcorn, I don't know.
Or the
what I'm
boogie
doing
woogie
here.
flu. There you go. So that's predominantly the procedural changes that we're going to be employing. There'll be some physical, or I should say, crowd management changes too. For example, on busy nights, we may ask people to go out the back exits. And we're going to be asking our guests to wait for instructions. So at the end of the movie, a staff member will come in and say, please exit through the back exits, please exit through the side exits.
Right.
All about
just to direct traffic.
All about avoiding crowds. And that's really what it's about. We want to avoid people actually, being put in a position where they can't socially distance. We want all our guests to wear masks while they're walking through the theater. I mean, I'm not sure where the law is going to be at that point, but right now it's not mandatory.
But should masks not be needed in the seats so they could enjoy food and drinks if
Absolutely.
they wanted?
I mean,
and then you just put it on when you walk around.
Or frankly, wear it in the theater when you're not eating, just for that extra level of protection, right? So that's one of the theaters, and the rest of it is pretty much what you've come to expect.
Just regular social distancing and lines and things like that.
Yeah, I'll give you a quick example of that too. Then we'll get back to our show.
Feels so good to be back inside a cinema again. I just see the big screen; it's calling me.
Yeah. Now, I mean, it's a little chaotic right now because we're closed, and we actually just started our summer film camps.
Oh, great!
So one of the things we are allowed to do is actually run our Film.Ca film camps for kids.
But
And
those are separated too from larger groups.
yeah,
right?
so we
there's
used to have, there was never any limits to that before.
No.
So the filmmaking summer camp group would work in whatever crowds they needed to make their film. Now we're limited to 10 per cohort. We have 3 cohorts, and the 10 includes 2 adult supervisors.
Ah,
They're very popular. We had our first test one last week. We're starting with 3 classes
that's
this
great.
coming week. Josh here is our producer.
are they running all summer long?
All summer long.
So okay, let's say I wanted to sit. Are there still spots?
Lots of spots, yeah. There's a lot of
enough.
folks that are still sort of like,
Hear that? There's still spots available.
yeah, go to the website at Film.Ca and you can get more information on the camp. It's a 1-week
Great.
program, and it's for elementary school kids, and it's a lot of fun. Josh is one of the instructors. He's
Just
one of
also our
filmmakers.
great producer tonight.
He's our great
who's,
producer, yeah.
running everything behind the scenes.
Yeah. But some other examples, and this isn't 100% finalized yet. We're still trying to, we're figuring out as we go. But we're looking at different ways of managing crowds. So, we're instead of the traditional bankers line that we used to have, we're having separate, basically, pickup lines.
Yes. And I noticed there's also a glass that's in place in front of the.
Yeah, so we've been testing
bar.
this. So this is what we've settled on.
Yeah.
These will be strong across.
Sorry,
this
it's hard.
part.
I think it's kind of hard to see on camera, but there is in fact a physical glass that's here.
So the idea is for most people, it's keeping any kind of spray away from customers to staff. Our staff will all be wearing masks, and then there's room to pass underneath.
Excellent.
We're also restricting there'll be pickup stations where they won't be touching money at all. They'll just be processing food, and then you will pay at the first 2 stations. So, and we're really encouraging people to buy their tickets in advance. Now, the one great thing that we have, I've mentioned software changes. We're actually launching an app shortly.
Oh, great.
And so on an Android or iPhone.
What are some of the things you can do on the app? Just buy tickets?
You can buy tickets and you can reserve the seats you want.
Can you buy concessions on the
buy
app?
concessions.
Hey.
So once you walk in, you'll have everything pre-purchased, and you'll simply go to your pickup station, who will then serve
Great.
whatever it is that you happen to have ordered.
All right. Do you think it's time we should get back to the
Let's get back
game?
to the show.
Yes.
But thanks for asking the question.
Yeah,
It's a long answer to a short question.
But even still, it's interesting for me to see the process as you're getting ready to reopen, because you bet as soon as you are, I will be here opening day,
Well,
roaring and ready to go.
Just know that we are we're ready to respond to whatever the rules are that are established by public health officials once that time comes. Once they say that we're ready to go.
Sorry, I'll let you go to your.
Sure. We are getting ready now, anticipating what some of those changes are going to look like. But we're pretty nimble and we're able to adapt. So there's a lot coming. So follow the website, social media,
Right.
and we'll keep you informed of what we've got up our sleeves.